Hi, this is Priya, and I'm here in Erkan in Cyprus in this really beautiful exotic hotel. You know, on the one side we have the desert, there is barren land, there are stone structures, and on the other side is this huge expansive sea. You know, so like you say you're between the devil and the deep sea, I say you're between the desert and the sea, and it's beautiful. You know, and I always say this, that I am the greatest beneficiary of my work. In fact, I say I'm the privileged beneficiary of my work, and anybody can be that. You see, I am very strongly, uncompromisingly committed to excellence. There is nothing short that I will deliver, and if anybody can do that in their professional, personal lives, my God, you will be worthy of the most beautiful destiny that you can ever create. You know, I love this place. It's the view itself is liberating, and to have that kind of privilege and honor, to have this kind of facility, have this kind of ambience and environment, and if your work can provide that, my God, you have achieved something beautiful in life apart from money. Because you see, these are experiences which transcend money, which transcend that yearning for materialism, because this is what expands your soul, this is what fulfills your heart, and this is the greatest gift beyond the salary check that you can get at the end of the month. And I love that. And you know, one of the messages that I constantly give in my workshops is that be committed to excellence. Okay, there is 85% of people on the planet whose commitment is to average, to ordinary, to mediocre, and not because they want to, but because they're surrounded by that kind of mindset. They don't know how to break it. Okay, and the people who break it are the ones who land up probably alone in that moment or for some time in the future, but eventually the world opens up for them. So it would be inconvenient to break away from the lot. It would be a little tough. It would take a lot of guts and courage to say no to ordinary, to say no to an ordinary mindset, and to get into a league of extraordinary, of excellence, of give it your all, of putting your heart and soul, of diving into whatever that you're committed to. Now that is a small league of people, and those are the people that make it to the top, that have the life which is really worthy of living. Okay, so I'll give you an example through the story, and I love this story. So it's about this guy from Punjab. He owns a dhaba. See, I am North Indian, so I like to put in Punjab on the map. So this guy from Punjab who owns a dhaba, let's call him Happy Singh. Okay, so he goes to Japan to bring delicacies of Japan into his dhaba. So as much as it's a Punjabi paratha dal dhaba, he wants to bring delicacies from over the world. He's a visionary. He's a guy whose vision has gone global. He wants to bring the world to his dhaba in Punjab. So he goes to Japan and he tastes a lot of things, and then he likes, you know, frog legs. So he goes to the chef and he says, look, I'm from Punjab. I want to take a part of Japan back home. Tell me, how do you make these frog legs? So the guy says it's very simple. First of all, you catch these frogs, okay? Let's say about 100 of them, and then you boil them, okay? Alive. You can't kill each frog and boil it. The taste of the leg is in boiling the frogs alive. It's a very difficult story to tell. So anyways, so he says you boil them and then you put all of these masalas and falana and so on, and that's how you serve it, and that's how you get frog legs. The guy says, damn good. हमारे यहाँ तो डड्डू तो मतलब free में मिलते हैं, you know, around and so on. Daddu is mendak, is frog in Punjabi. So anyways, he learns this thing and he goes back to Punjab. So he catches, you know, 100 daddus, okay? And he takes them to his dhaba, and he takes this big cauldron, a big patila, he boils the water, and he takes all the 100 frogs and he dunks them in, and guess what happened? All the 100 frogs jumped out. I mean, you put a living life, a living being in boiling water, the knee-jerk reaction, the reflex action is to jump out. Everyone wants to save their life. So they all jumped out and they scattered, and his whole dhaba was ruined. The people who he had called for the launch of, you know, the new delicacy frog legs, all of them were like really upset with frogs leaping around everywhere, some half-burnt frogs and so on. So it was a disaster. And the guy was really angry. So he flew back to Japan. Japan and caught that chef. And he says, you cheated me. You didn't tell me the truth. My whole image of the dhaba was ruined. You know, all over the press, I looked like a fool because I had invited the media to serve frog legs. So the chef said, hey, what did you do? And the guy says, I did exactly what you told me to do. I heated all the water, you know, boiled it and put the frogs in. And the chef says, hey, silly fellow, who puts frogs in boiling water? They would jump out. That's not how you boil frogs, or that's not how you trap things. He says, that's not how you make frog legs. You put a cauldron of cold water, normal room temperature. Now you put the frogs in, and guess what all the frogs will do? They will happily swim about. Nobody wants to get out. Okay, now you start the flame little bit. Okay, so the water becomes a little warm. Now this is what happens between frogs and most life, which is headed for survival, thinks like this. Okay, so please get the message. So the water becomes warm, and there's this frog who says, hey, this water is becoming a little warm. What's going on? But then he looks at the other frog. He looks okay. He looks okay. He looks okay. Maybe it's okay. Now that frog who he was looking at thinks that, oh my God, I think this is becoming a little warm. But he looks okay. He looks okay. He looks okay. Maybe everything's okay. All right. Now that frog thinks, hey, the water is becoming a little bit warm. What's going on? But he looks at this frog and says, he looks okay. He looks okay. He looks okay. Must be okay. So the point is, each one is feeling the warmth, but they're looking at each other to make a point, to say something, to stand up and make a point. Hey, do you think something's wrong? They all are looking at each other, but each one is feeling it. Okay. Now he says, now you increase the flame a little bit more. Now the water becomes hot, and this frog is thinking, hey, something is wrong. The water is becoming a little hot. But he looks okay. He looks okay. He looks okay. Nobody's saying anything. Maybe it's just me. So he tolerates. Now this frog is thinking the exact same thing. And it is by this majority consensus that nobody is making any noise. Nobody is standing up. Nobody is saying anything. Everyone thinks that it's okay, but it's not okay. And then suddenly, this one frog goes to the center of the cauldron and he sees bubbles forming at the bottom. Okay, now bubbles forming at the bottom means the water is about to boil. And he looks at it horrified. And then there is this one bubble that leaves the bottom and comes swirling up and pops. And that's when the frog gets it. He said, oh my God, the water is about to boil. Jump, everyone jump, evacuate. Okay, now they get it that they're in trouble. Now they get it that they're going to be boiled alive. They're going to be dead. And now the urgency creeps in for them to take action. And now each one of them are like, jump, but they can't, because they're already half boiled. And that's how you get frog legs. Now, the point is this, that things are not okay. Why are you looking at other people? You judge for yourself, make some noise, and that's what leadership is about. A leader is a person who stands up and says, hey, it's getting warm. I think we're headed to being half cooked. I think we're heading for disaster. Take action now. Say something now. Okay, and that's what I tell in all my workshops. Don't ignore the little signs. They will grow big, because you see, if you stay put long in that little sign that is ringing the alarm bell, it is going to lead to a fire. It is going to lead you off the cliff. Okay, but nobody says anything because they think, oh, it's too small to make noise. It's okay. It's tolerable. Have no tolerance for average. Have no tolerance for mediocre. Have no tolerance for ordinary. Make some noise, jump up, else you will be boiled alive, my dear. And I am committed to your success. I am committed to excellence. And if you're watching this video, I think we have something in common. I think we're kindred souls. I love it that you're in touch with me. You know, connect with me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. I always respond. You know, sometimes there's a delay, but I love the connection. I genuinely love the connection. You know, there was a time where I used to feel, is it just me? You know, I'm alone. Nobody else thinks like that. You know, people call me, oh, you're too aggressive, you're too pushy, and you're too noisy and you speak so much. And I thought, but shouldn't you? You know, why are you tolerating things you don't like? And now with this connection, I feel, hey, you're like me in some way to be associated with me, and I'd love to carry that forward. Please stay in touch, and I hope this helps. And you have to visit Erkan in Cyprus. It's beautiful. I love it here. I wish I didn't have to go back and I could spend a few days, but then work is work. And I'm happy that I'm here, and I'm happy that we're connected. All right, stay in touch.